Lewis Hamilton's outrage over Ferrari's strategy. Before the Japanese GP, Lewis Hamilton arrived at the Suzuka circuit in Japan with a clear goal in mind. After a difficult start to the season, which included a challenging weekend in Australia and a painful disqualification in China, this race in Japan was supposed to be a fresh beginning. It was meant to be a turning point, a chance for him and Ferrari to prove what they could accomplish together. But instead of the promising weekend they hoped for, what unfolded during qualifying left Hamilton visibly frustrated, the team uneasy, and raised more questions about the limitations of Ferrari's SF25. The frustration wasn't just a result of bad luck or a poor performance. It was the culmination of several mistakes that, for many, seemed to be mounting and threatening to derail the relationship between Hamilton and Ferrari. Despite all the potential that this partnership promised, it was clear that strategic errors and compromises in car setup were holding them back. In this video, we'll take a deeper dive into the issues Hamilton faced with Ferrari's strategy leading up to the Japanese Grand Prix, focusing on the details of the car's configuration, the balance problems, the ripple effect from Shanghai, and how all of these elements led to Hamilton battling understeer and sacrificing aerodynamic downforce. The struggles in qualifying. From the start of the weekend, it was clear that Ferrari was walking on eggshells when it came to configuring the SF25. After Hamilton's disqualification in China, which was caused by excessive wear on the floorboard, due to the car being too low, the team had no choice but to make precautionary changes for Suzuka. The most notable of these changes was raising the car's ride height, a move that seemed minor but turned out to have huge implications. In Formula One, every millimeter counts, and by raising the car's height, Ferrari effectively removed one of the SF25's few strengths, its ability to generate consistent downforce close to the ground. This adjustment left Hamilton driving a car that felt unbalanced, unpredictable, and, most critically, difficult to push during high-speed sessions. What followed was a frustrating series of qualifying rounds where Hamilton struggled to get the car to perform. Despite making it to the third qualifying phase, he only managed to secure 8th place, more than 6/10 behind the leading pace. For a driver of Hamilton's caliber, in a car that was expected to compete for podiums, this result was deeply disappointing. The impact of car setup and strategy choices. After the session, Hamilton didn't hold back. He expressed his frustration, clearly stating that the height adjustments were still impacting the car's performance. In his own words, they were running higher than we would have liked. And this was a direct consequence of what had happened in Shanghai. It wasn't just a small compromise, it was a significant change that completely altered the car's balance and feel. Hamilton also revealed that he and the team had followed different directions when it came to car setup. While this is sometimes part of a broader strategy to collect data or explore different performance windows in this case, it had the opposite effect. Hamilton reported significant understeer during qualifying, a condition where the car is slow to turn into corners and loses confidence during quick direction changes, a fatal issue on a circuit like Suzuka, which is defined by its fast corners. The car's sensitivity to changes in ride height had become a serious problem. According to sources, the SF25's current configuration is extremely sensitive to ride height changes. It's not just about being too low or too high, it's about finding that perfect balance. The car only works well within a very narrow range, and straying even slightly from that window causes the performance to drop dramatically. That's exactly what happened here, and it had a direct impact on Hamilton's confidence and performance. Even though Hamilton is known for his professionalism, he still took some responsibility for not producing an excellent lap in the final qualifying session. He admitted that 8th place was not acceptable for a driver of his caliber. However, reading between the lines, it was clear that the car's setup wasn't giving him the necessary base to perform. It wasn't about making mistakes or being reckless. It was about being forced to compromise due to deeper structural issues in how the SF25 behaved. The deeper problem: Ferrari struggles with stability and innovation. What makes this situation even more frustrating for Hamilton and Ferrari is that there were real signs of progress earlier in the weekend. Ferrari had hoped that the simulator Updates and new adjustments to the rear suspension would allow Hamilton to attack Suzuka with more confidence. However, all that progress was overshadowed by the changes needed to prevent another disqualification. Unfortunately, these changes came at the cost of overall performance. Looking ahead to the race, Hamilton remained optimistic. The weather forecast predicted rain, and Hamilton made it clear that he welcomed the possibility. He thrives in wet conditions where many drivers falter, and he often seizes the opportunity when others hesitate. But starting from 8th place meant he would need a perfect strategy, a strong start, and perhaps some help from the weather to make his way back into contention. Despite his optimism, there is an underlying concern. Ferrari continues to struggle with the same core issues week after week: sensitivity to ride height, narrow setup windows, and a car that becomes dramatically harder to drive as compromises are made. For Hamilton, who joined Ferrari hoping to add an 8th title to his collection, this situation demands patience, but it also requires decisive improvements from the team. The bigger picture, legacy and leadership in the face of adversity. What makes this situation so intriguing is that it goes beyond just performance metrics. We are watching one of the greatest drivers in F1 history navigate the complexities of a brand new environment. A legendary team with immense expectations, but also with very real limitations. Ferrari has passion, pedigree, and ambition, but right now they are struggling to put the pieces together in a way that delivers consistent results. For Hamilton, this chapter at Ferrari is not just about speed. It's about legacy. It's about proving that he can do what so many before him failed to do: conquer Maranello, and in doing so create something truly historic. But this journey is never smooth. And what we are witnessing is a raw, unfiltered example of what happens when a champion is forced to challenge the limits of a team that is still trying to rediscover its identity. Suzuka, in many ways, exposed the fragile balance between innovation and stability within Ferrari's engineering department. The attempt to solve one problem in China led to a new one in Japan. This is not just a one-off configuration issue. It's a symptom of a bigger struggle to understand the true behavior of the SF25 under pressure, with evolving track conditions, and in the hands of a driver who expects and demands precision. Yet there's another side to this story that deserves attention: the attitude Hamilton demonstrates in the face of these challenges. At no point did he place all the blame on the team. He didn't lash out emotionally or make public criticisms. Instead, he analyzed, adjusted, and continuously pressed for clarity. He asked the tough questions, but always in a way that kept the team focused and motivated. This kind of leadership may not make headlines, but it will be crucial if Ferrari wants to evolve into a genuine title contender. The path forward. Can Ferrari and Hamilton build something historic? We cannot forget the bigger context here. This is only the 4th Grand Prix of the season.